What's up, y'all? I got a new album coming out this summer, and what I want to go over with you today is the mastering. Some of you have probably heard of mastering, and some of you probably have not heard of mastering. But when it comes to making a record, I have basically broken it down into 4 steps. First is the initial recording, where you record the tracks, the drums, the bass, the guitars, the vocals, whatnot. Second is overdubbing, where you go back and you replace parts and you edit. Third is mixing, where you mix all the sounds together. And 4 is mastering. And mastering is a very important step. For instance, when you buy a CD and you listen to a CD, or when you download a full-length album, when you listen to these songs, I think you'll find that if it's one album and not spread out over several albums, that it will have a consistent sound and a consistent volume level and a consistent dynamic level. Like, you listen to the first song and then you go to the second song isn't going to be a lot louder or a lot softer. It's going to be a pretty consistent volume. That way, you're not turning up and turning down your CD player or your MP3 player, and it's got a consistent volume level. Also, when you listen to your album on your MP3 player or on your CD player, you'll notice how each song kind of flows into the next song. There's a certain gap, maybe between it, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. There's fade outs at the beginning and there's fade outs at the end, so that you're just not jumping into song after song, and it's got a nice smooth transition. These are all very important elements in finishing a record, and this is why mastering is so important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you guys over here. You're going to follow me, and we're going to look at my workstation here, and we're going to go over the elements of mastering and what we do to fix these songs, where some songs might be a little louder, a little bit lower, some songs might have more bass, some songs might have less bass, some songs might have more guitars or less guitars, some songs might have too much going on the right side of the stereo spectrum and on the left side of the stereo spectrum. So what we do, we take one song, we master it, we get it to sound exactly the way we want it, as far as dynamics, as far as bass, and as far as EQ goes. Then we take the rest of the songs that will be included on the album and we make them sound like that song. We make them have the same volume level, the same bass frequencies, and the same EQ frequencies, so that they all flow and sound the same. So here we go. I'm going to take you into Pro Tools and I'm going to explain what we do here to master. Alright. Okay, y'all, so if you look here, here's our monitors. On the left side, you will see the waveform, which is this right here. I can expand it, I can make it bigger, or I can make it smaller, where I can just kind of look at it. And this is what our music looks like as far as waveform goes, our dynamics and our volume level digitally. Okay, now over here on the right side, we've got our controls. This right here is our mastering EQ. This right here is our mastering compressor and de-esser. This right here is another de-esser, and this right here is our finalizing and peak limiter. So what we do, what I like to do first when I'm mastering, is I like to get the EQ right. I like to get the bass where I want it, and I like to get the treble where I want it, and I like to get the mid-range where I want it. So I play with this one right here until I'm happy. Then I compress. So there's some annoying signals that you just cannot quite EQ out. So that's when I bring this compressor in here. Now this compressor right here doesn't just compress the whole mix, for those of you that understand what a compressor does. It compresses certain frequencies. So what I do is I pinpoint those frequencies that I don't care for in the mix, and I compress those frequencies individually. As you see here where the blue markings are, this is where I'm compressing. I'm compressing some at the low end, which is the bass, and I'm compressing some here at the high end, which is the treble, to kind of get rid of some annoying harsh frequencies. Then I stack another de-esser. Now, a lot of you probably don't even know what a de-esser is, but when people sing, and they sing into a microphone, the word S tends to come across very annoyingly and very harsh. Also, cymbals, hi-hats, tambourines, and other very high frequency instruments tend to add a lot of harsh frequencies to a final mix. So what you need to do is you need to de-ess that out. What this de-esser is very similar to what this compressor is, except you can only pick a certain frequency to compress. So what you do is you find the frequency that is annoying and that is making the mix sound harsh and unpleasing to the ear, and you compress that. Now, after I've got the mix sounding exactly the way that I want it to sound, now I put a peak limiter on it. Now this right here, what this does is it limits the peaks, and it brings the volume level up so that it is one consistent volume all the way from the beginning to the end of the song. It's not really loud and it's not really soft, okay? And I bring this in right here, and this is an L2, and this is on just probably about every record that's been released in the last 20 years. Well, there you have it, y'all. I hope this gives you a better understanding on what mastering is and why it's so very important to do when you're getting ready to release a record. Well, I'm going to get started on this first song. Make sure you download the record. It's going to be available on iTunes. Also, if you want to learn more about what goes into recording an album, click here and watch the recording of the side project that I did, God-Fearing Rockstar, where it takes you through every step of the recording process. Thanks again for watching, and God bless.